I still remember the night my wife looked me in the eyes and told me she had found her real love. After 15 years of marriage, after 2 children, after building a life together from nothing. She said it like our entire life was just a mistake. And what hurt the most, she smiled while saying it. Her name was Vanessa. When we met, we were both broke. I worked long hours at a repair shop. She worked at a small clothing store in the mall. We rented a tiny apartment with leaking pipes and broken windows. But we were happy. At least, I thought we were. We struggled together. We dreamed together. And eventually, we built something beautiful. By the time we reached our 15th anniversary, we had a nice house, 2 kids, and enough money to finally breathe. I believed we had survived the hardest years. I was wrong. It started slowly. Vanessa became distant, cold. She stopped laughing at my jokes, stopped asking about my day. At dinner, she stared at her phone more than she looked at me. At first, I blamed stress. Maybe she was tired. Maybe life had become routine. But then, she started going out more. Girls' nights, work dinners, late shopping trips. Sometimes she came home smelling like expensive cologne. Not mine. One night, I woke up at 2 a.m. She wasn't in bed. I walked downstairs quietly, and there she was, smiling at her phone in the dark, the kind of smile I hadn't seen in years. The moment she noticed me, her face changed instantly. She locked the phone and forced a laugh. Just talking to a friend. A friend. Yeah, that word would destroy my life. For weeks, I tried to ignore it. I didn't want to become the jealous husband. I trusted her. Or maybe I was scared to know the truth. Then came our anniversary dinner. 15 years. I booked a beautiful restaurant, bought her flowers, even wore the old watch she gave me when we first got married. I wanted to fix us, save us, but during dinner, she barely spoke. She looked bored, like being there was a chore. Then suddenly she put down her fork, looked directly at me, and said the words I will never forget. I met someone. Everything around me went silent. The music, the people, the sounds of plates and glasses, gone. I just stared at her. She didn't even look guilty. He understands me, she said softly. I finally know what real love feels like. Real love, 15 years together, and suddenly I was just practice. I asked the question every broken husband asks. Did you cheat on me? She looked away. That was enough. I drove home alone that night. I cried so hard I nearly crashed the car, not because I lost her, but because I realized the woman I loved was gone long before that dinner. The divorce happened fast, too fast. Vanessa didn't fight for anything. Not the marriage, not the house, not even custody. It was like she couldn't wait to leave. A week after signing the papers, she moved in with him. His name was Damien, a wealthy real estate investor. Fancy cars, luxury condo, perfect smile, the kind of man who made average husbands feel invisible. She thought she had upgraded her life, and maybe she had, at least. For a while, the first year after the divorce nearly destroyed me. The house felt empty. The silence was unbearable. Every room reminded me of her. I stopped sleeping, stopped eating properly. Some nights, I sat in my car for hours because I couldn't handle walking inside the house alone. But eventually, something changed. Pain turned into focus. I started going to the gym, started spending more time with my kids, started rebuilding myself piece by piece. And slowly, I began to feel alive again, not because Vanessa left, but because I finally stopped living only for someone else. Then one evening, almost 3 years later, my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost ignored it, but something told me to answer. Hello, silence. Then, a voice I hadn't heard in years. Mark, Vanessa. And she was crying. At first, I felt nothing. No anger, no excitement. Nothing. Just distance. She begged to meet, said it was important. Against my better judgment, I agreed. When I saw her sitting in that cafe, I barely recognized her. The confident woman who left me was gone. She looked exhausted, thin, broken. Her hands shook while holding the coffee cup. Then she finally told me the truth. Damien had ruined her life. At first, everything felt perfect. Luxury vacations, designer clothes, expensive parties. But Damien wasn't the man she thought he was. He controlled everything. Her money, her clothes, her friendships. Eventually, he became emotionally abusive, then physically abusive. And the worst part, she discovered she wasn't the only woman, not even close. There were many. She had destroyed her marriage for a man who treated women like temporary toys. I should have felt satisfaction, revenge, maybe even happiness. But honestly, I just felt sad. Sad for the woman she became. Sad for the life we destroyed. Sad for our children. Then she grabbed my hand. Tears rolled down her face, and she whispered something that shocked me. You were the real love, not him. For a second, my heart almost believed her. 15 years doesn't disappear easily. Part of me remembered our old life, the small apartment, the dreams, the young couple who fought the world together. But then I remembered the restaurant, her cold eyes, her smile while breaking me, and suddenly I understood something important. Missing someone doesn't mean they deserve another chance. Vanessa begged me to take her back, said she made the biggest mistake of her life, said she still loved me, but love without loyalty means nothing, and some betrayals cut too deep to repair. So I looked her in the eyes one final time, and calmly said, I forgave you a long time ago. She started crying harder. I continued, but forgiveness doesn't mean I want you back. She covered her face and sobbed quietly. People around us stared, but I stayed calm, because for the first time in years, I wasn't broken anymore. She was. Before leaving, she asked one last question. Did you ever stop loving me? I paused, then answered honestly, no. Her eyes filled with hope, but then I added, I just learned to love myself more. And that was the moment everything changed. Not for her. For me. A few months later, I heard Vanessa move to another city. We barely speak now except about the kids. As for me, life surprised me again. Not with revenge, not with hatred, but with peace, real peace. And honestly, that feels better than revenge ever could. Sometimes people destroy good things while chasing fantasy. Sometimes they only realize your value after losing you forever. But by then, it's already too late. And the hardest truth of all, the person who breaks your heart often ends up breaking their own too.